Welcome. Let's give everybody a chance to jump on. Has anybody joined us yet? It is Tuesday, right? I've lost track of my days because of this show.
Cindy's on. Hello, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy. I thought I had Facebook on my tablet so that I could see all the comments, but apparently not.
Hey, Louise. How are you today?
Nope. Not on there.
Hey, Janice. Welcome to the show. Hey, Beverly.
Welcome.
Hey, Patsy. Mississippi in the house. Nice. Hey, Karen. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. This is not what we're doing tonight. I just had it out because I'm just doing show and tell. This is a project that I'm working on. It's 100 blocks, so not for the faint of heart, with the 4-inch cubes, so little bitty tiny pieces. And I have favorite blocks in here. I like the really light backgrounds a little more than I do the darker. I think this is more striking. What do you think?
Hey, Ron. How are you? Thank you for sharing, Lana. Appreciate it. If you like the content, be sure and subscribe.
Yep.
One of the many channels, Joan So's on YouTube or any of the Facebook channels.
Like, share, follow, subscribe, notify. What else is there?
I don't know. Click on the bell.
Yeah, that's the notify button. Notify when we go live.
Hey, Cecilia, how are you tonight? Hey, Cheryl. Julie, how are you doing? Karen, how are you tonight?
Welcome.
Looks like Christmas.
It is. I might have it done by Christmas.
Love red and green quilts.
I was
Love
just
those
saying,
blocks.
I really like this quilt, but I think I have too many colors in it. I think the brownish,
You'd have to hold it up a little bit more.
this brownish color that is like right here in this block needs to go, because these blocks are so striking with just the red and the green and the cream background. I think it would just be better. What do you think? So like this one right here is one of my favorites, this block.
Hey, Bernadine, welcome to the show.
So when I look at the quilt and I see all of my favorite blocks in it, they're all the red and green without the brownish, goldish background or any of the other colors in it. So I think red, white,
blue.
red, green, and white is the best way to go for this.
Hey, Linda, welcome to the show. Hey, Melissa, how are you tonight?
And I think I am going to pattern this one. It might be a whole nother year before I do, but I really like it. I think it's pretty. It'll be on my wall
Hey, Judy, welcome to the show.
at Christmas time for decoration.
Well, Joan, should we get started?
Yeah, let's.
Who are we?
We are Quilters HQ, Windmill Sewing Center, Sewing Machines Express, and Quilt Sampler. The websites are quiltershq.com, windmillsewingcenter.com, QHQ2.com, and quiltsampler.com. And we're going to have a new website to add to that too, joansews.com. Soon-ish.
Hey, Cheryl, welcome to the show.
Nothing in the IT world happens immediately. So if you've joined us for the past couple of weeks, we didn't have a show last week because we were at AQS Branson, and we do have a drawing for that.
We do.
We do.
That we'll do.
Here, soon.
You have them?
I do.
Okay, great. We're having a drawing.
I wish you could have seen the look of panic on Robert's face, like, oh my gosh, do we have the... Yes, it's in that bag.
Hey, Rhonda. Thank you for
So-
loving the show. Hey, Carla, how are you tonight?
So we have been working on, and I'm going to come over and grab the camera and kind of show you. Because we're going live from my home tonight. So I'm going to go really, really fast so you don't see all my messes. The picnic tablecloth. It's actually a quilt, but it kind of looks like a picnic.
It does look like a picnic.
So I have been struggling, and if I took you upstairs right now, you could see that I still have a Christmas tablecloth and placemats on my...
Hey Sharon, welcome to the show. Hey Barb.
On my kitchen table.
Hey Mary.
And it's, what? Almost Easter. So...
I don't know. It might fit okay.
That has bunnies on it, so it could be fine for Easter. It has cats, so it could be fine for Halloween. And it has birds, so I don't know what they would represent. But, so I wanted to show you the process to go through quilting it. And I am using the Bernina Q20 on a studio frame because it's a little bit smaller and it fits in my space better. With the automation, because I don't want to be tied to the machine, so automation works. So if you want to switch cameras, we'll walk over there.
Hey Kathy, welcome to the show.
Oh, Lana's saying hello. She's grouchy because nobody's petting her.
Yeah. She's a attention hound.
So don't know if you're going to hear the meowing in the background, but that's Lana. So I've already, oops, sorry, don't mean to have an earthquake here. So I've already loaded the safe area on the screen and the dimensions of my quilt. So that's done right here. So mine is, it's actually 68 by 68, but I like to give myself a little extra inch.
Screaming at me.
She is really grumpy. Oh, and there she is. In her favorite spot. So I'm kind of going between these two patterns. But I think I'm going to do the tangle. Just because it's a little bit tighter. And...
Hey Kathy, welcome to the show.
You know, with a larger pattern, I don't want crumbs to sink down into the quilting. Robert's cracking up because he knows. So to do the repeats, I'm just going to add, it's that easy. And so it's a little bit bigger, and that's okay. So I'm going to click off, click back on, so I have all of them. And then I'm going to drag it over here just a little bit. And then we're going to go here and see how big it actually is. So it's 9 inches, which is a little bit... I always get nervous because you lose quilting space when the quilt gets bigger. So I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller. I'm going to resize. So 9 inches, so you can see right there, 9 inches. If I can grab a hold of the... That'll work, I think. It would be easier if I had a stylus, but I don't, so we're just doing that. Okay. And then I'm going to grab it and move it all the way up to the top of my quilt. And it is going to be kind of a little bit dense quilting. And that's okay, because I want it to kind of wear well. And I need it to be a little bit bigger. So I don't know if they can see.
You could probably go in a little closer, but...
All right, earthquake. and grab this little handle and make it just a little bit bigger. There we go.
Welcome to the show.
And apply. And then we're going to just do our repeats. I'm going to scroll down and I think it kind of looks a little bit crowded up there, so I'm going to increase the distance between them. I think that looks good. And what do you know? It turns out almost the perfect size.
Nice. How often does that happen?
Almost never. And I did make it a little bit bigger. So my quilt is, what did I say? 62? No, 68. And I put my dimensions in at 70. And it's lengthwise, it's 69.31. So I know that if I start at the very top edge of my quilt, which we're going to, that it will cover it completely. So once we have this done, I don't have any trimming to do, but if I did, I could trim. If there was a curvy pattern, I could trim off the edges or the bottom. And when I get down to the bottom, I might actually have a little bit left over. So a couple of inches maybe. And if I don't want to quilt it, I can just trim it off and the machine will just sew a straight stitch along to join up to the next one. So we are ready to go.
Hey Debbie, welcome to the show.
I am going to save it. It is spring. And sometimes we have power outages in the spring. Okay, so I'm gonna earthquake
tote bag, huh?
Earthquake again. We're just gonna move it over so that you can see what oh man, that really does look like a picnic quilt. We can move in here a little closer too. How is that?
Hey Bonnie, welcome.
Sorry for the earthquake, guys. So all I gotta do, I've already threaded, so things that you gotta think about when you're doing a quilt and you have a long arm like this, and it should be just a standard practice. I was talking to somebody about it today, and that is oil your machine. Make sure it's threaded right. Mine is not. Now it is. Change your needle. I always start a quilt with a new needle. It's the cheapest thing on the...
Hey Kathy, welcome to the show. Oh, there's a cat that snuck in and got on camera.
And start point. Lana says... Okay, so it's calculating right now. And it is taking off. Away it goes over to the very, very edge.
Hey Kathy, welcome to the show. Yeah, yellow, hello, they're all the same, right? Did we sell kits on this one? On the table? I don't think we did.
We sold the yardage so that people could... Oh, she's going to scratch you. She is not happy about the non-petting here.
There you go.
So, the cool thing about Bernina is I have the controls on the computer screen. I also have the controls right here as well. So it's going to let me do a needle down, needle up to bring up my bobbin thread. And I chose to go with this kind of creamy white color. And then all I got to do is say go. I'm going to grab my handy little clippers.
Hey Linda, welcome to the show.
and we are quilting. So we can go a little bit faster than that. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit.
It's a good time to go over your checklist. Hey Carol, welcome to the show. I think maybe it's a good time, Joan, to go through your checklist whenever you're loading a long arm, or if you're going to do it on a domestic. What are some of the things that you always say? Take an extra time loading your quilt on the frame.
I do say
makes
that.
for better quilting.
I do. So,
Hey Robin, welcome to the show.
the more time that you spend here, let me back up just a little bit
Yep.
so you can see. So the more time that you spend here loading your quilt and ironing your back and making sure that everything is on straight, the better your result is going to be. So, you know, a lot of times they say go from the middle. This is pretty easy to have a middle point on this, but I typically don't, because I have this computer over on the other side and the machine wants to come over and run into it, so I have to move the computer monitor out of the way, and so I just go all the way to the left and let the machine do the quilting. Can everybody hear me okay over the machine? Because I can always pause it. But I did want to let it run through a row so that you can see how easy it is to advance your quilt with the Bernina.
You had a question come in. They want to know how big that quilt is.
This one is 68 by 68. Pretty sure. I measured it a minute ago, but I already put my tape measure. Yeah. So it's really cute. The pattern is on quiltershq.com. You can go download it. If you go up to the very right corner, it's Joan Sews Projects and Patterns. I don't remember what it is named exactly, but everything that we talk about is there to go ahead and download. But yeah, this, and I'm just floating the top, so the batting that I use, there's enough static to hold the quilt in place. And if you look, I've got the bowl foot on the Berninas so that it's not going to catch the edges of the quilt at all.
Hey Peggy, welcome to the show.
Hi Peggy. So are we doing that show at Quilt Sampler? Are we doing that Saturday or first Saturday?
The action quilt?
No. The skinny bolt sale.
I thought you were talking about doing it on first Saturday. But...
Okay. So things coming up. First Saturday, which is not this Saturday. I think it's the Saturday after. Is it the Saturday after? I don't have a calendar. Somebody log in and tell me what first Saturday is for April. We're going to have a skinny bolt sale at Quilt Sampler in the afternoon. We'll send out an email with the details. We're going to go live until it's gone because I just ordered a whole bunch of fabric for Quilt Sampler.
April 6th?
April 6th is the first Saturday. Okay.
First Saturday of the month, huh?
So, we have a kind of a block of the month thing that we do there, and then we have Aki Quilt Club. So after Aki Quilt Club finishes, we're going to go live, and we're going to go until it's gone because I have to make room for all of these bolts that are coming in. So,
when is the Aki Quilt event?
Oh, April 13th. There is an event with Pam Heller and Erica. I can't remember her last name. They're coming to Quilt Sampler, and it's a trade-up program. So if you have a Go, you can trade up to the electric. We'll have special pricing. But we'll also have all kinds of special pricing on the dies and I'll bring down a lot of the quilts that I've made with AccuQuilt so we can have a quilt show. I know AccuQuilt is bringing a lot of quilts. We did one in Kansas City and it filled up quick, so we'll send out an email on that pretty soon. I don't know if you can sign up yet. I think we'll probably do just a $10 sign up. Just because if it's free, people will sign up, take all the seats, and then not come. So you gotta pay something to reserve a seat. How are we doing on them?
Coming along, man.
Coming along. Looks good. It looks really pretty. I'm glad I went with that one. Here, let me switch to the...
Hey,
Oh, I'm gonna pick it for a second.
how are you?
So you can kind of see. Let me get close to the light. I don't know if you can see the pattern. But it's mesmerizing to watch. Vicky made the comment today that all my bunnies are going in the right direction. And I don't know how I did it, because trust me, it was not intentional. But if you look, even in all of the rows, all of the bunnies
Went the right way.
went the right way.
This is meant to be our tablecloth, dear.
I know. I'm actually really surprised, because I typically do not pay that much attention. I'm like, it just adds dimension and interest. So I think it's fine. Let me see if I can get in here and see the quilting. There you can see it. So just a really simple stipple. This is a really good thing.
You guys see that, okay?
Yeah.
And do we have to give away the note now?
We did. While that's doing that, let's speed it up a little more. While that's doing that, we can do a color of the month. I'm back. Let's talk about, let me turn it a little bit. Sorry, earthquake. There we go. You can still see. Color of the month for Aerofill. It's green, of course, because it's St. Patrick's. Actually, that was last weekend, wasn't it? Saturday? Sunday.
Yeah.
This fabulous green. It is color number 2865, 15% off for the show.
Color number what?
2865. $28.65 for the show. It's 15% off. If you're not, if you're a member of the club, it's 20% off. If you're not a member of the club, it's $20 to join. You get this little box. You know, when I do these boxes, it's always right side up, but when somebody hands it to me, for some reason, it's always upside down. So, I don't know how that works. But, anyway, $20 to join, and then all of the thread doesn't have to be the color of the month, could be any color you want, is 20% off.
Peggy wanted to know, how long do you think it'll take to do the whole quilt?
So I'm going to work on it this evening. I will finish it tonight, so probably about 3 hours, but we are going to go get tacos for dinner. So that's one of the reasons that I saved my patterns, so that, you know, we can just go and have dinner, and, you know, if I don't feel like quilting when I get back, because I might feel like a margarita with my tacos, and probably not a good idea to drink and drive this. So I may finish it tomorrow evening. But so probably about 3, maybe 3.5 hours. If I was doing it at the shop, it would probably take us about an hour. Our big industrial machine, we'll have to take, you know what, we should set that up and go run that some night while we're doing our show.
So, somebody was commenting that we got a Dream Juki back there. This is Carla.
Oh, the Dream Juki? I do have the toys. And it is pretty piled up. Here, let me grab the other camera. Okay. See, this is the Juki DDL 8700. It is a straight stitch industrial machine, and it has a big old pedal on it. And for those of you that have the Juki TLs, you probably recognize this. This is set up for my 1/4 inch. This machine is always set up for this. So this is what I piece on. And you can kind of tell, I had the vacuum in here last night, and I was vacuuming up a lot of strings and threads and stuff. Serger. I have the Bernina. This is the 850. I had to think about it for a second. The Bernina 850. I like it because it has a little bit bigger throat. And so I typically use it when I'm serging the edges off of my quilts. So if I want to sew, so I'm getting ready to work on a project here. And this is one that we did for...
Oh, the shop hop's coming up too.
Shop hop a long time ago. I don't know if I can slide out here far enough. But it says cotton is my candy, and it kind of looks like a Smartie roll. So this is over here because I use my Epic 95Q. This is my zigzag machine. So when I need to do something that has, you know, zigzag applique stitch, this is just fused on here. So I need to go around it and finish that. And then I'm going to turn it into a whole quilt and do a pattern for it. And then over here is the Epic 2.
I asked them who likes Smarties.
I love Smarties. Actually, I have some Smarties. So this is a sewing and embroidery combo. Down a little bit. This is a traded in machine. And so I had some projects that I wanted to do. And so I grabbed it. So I have some, and it involves, you know, charms. So I didn't really want to hot fire up my
Judy likes doves. Who knew?
What a surprise. So this machine is for sale. It's $8,500. It's a traded in machine. It's pre-loved. Doesn't have a lot of hours on it. If you're interested in it, as soon as I finish my project, we will be back in the store with it. And then because this has such a big flat surface, it gets kind of piled up, so you can see.
But not the sour ones.
Yeah, not the sour ones so much. This is my multi-needle. And so when I want to do really, really big projects, I pull this one out. And so I have my thread behind, so a little quick, you know. Those bags full of stuff are blocks waiting to be pieced, and there's lots of them. So, kind of how my mind works.
Should we check on our quilt, Joan?
We are almost done with this row. I could probably turn the light off and you could see it better, but... And done with the row. So let's switch cameras.
So what do you have to do? Are you going to show the advancing?
I am. Okay. So I'm not going to show you because it's just a little button that says sewing is complete. I do need to bring up my bobbin thread and trim that. And then I'm going to show you how easy it is, because this is one of the big questions that everybody asks is like, well, okay, I've done my row. How do I advance? So I'm going to turn you guys, so a little bit of an earthquake here, and get you really close to the screen so that you can see. And, well, let me pull you back a little bit, because we're gonna advance first. Sorry if I'm making you nauseous. So this is just a guess. This doesn't have, there's no science behind this. We're just going to roll it forward. And turn you here. Just a little bit. That looks so cute. I love this. So my quilting, I rolled and advanced till it's about here. It was down to about here. There's not enough room to do 2 rows of this pattern. It's about 8.5 inches. And so a little bit tighter. I am going to take my ruler, which I set down somewhere. So I like to just use a ruler and bring everything forward off of the edge. The backing is all tight, and I'm feeling for any bumps in the batting, and I don't. It's not super tight on here, so it's not drum tight. If you get it drum tight, you're gonna have some skipped stitches, which is no fun. Okay. I'm going to get you really close in here because I really want you to see this. This is pretty cool. So I'm just going to answer this question. I'm going to move my sew head and you might see it. So right up here, you can see how it's gray and this area hasn't been sun, but there's a crosshair. And I'm going to move the head to the middle of my quilt. And I'm actually going to put it, turn on my laser pointer, and I'm actually going to put it over the stitches. So I don't know if you can see it. Right there is the crosshairs. Yeah, you can see the little black dot. And so we're going to go to Tools, Realign Safe Area. Actually, I'm going to exit and then I'm going to go 1 to 1. A little bit. Okay. So then I'm going to go to Tools, Realign Safe Area. So this has a guide in it. And we are going to snap to point. I lost my point. So we need to scroll up. and then scroll over. So see this red line? That's where the sew head is. And right now, my needle, I don't know if you can move in a little bit closer.
Yeah.
So right now, my needle is right over where it's gray, where the stitches are, and that red line. So that is exactly where my needle is on the design. And so I'm going to snap to point. So all I'm going to do is tap it, and I'm a little bit off. So right there, perfect. Hit the thing, and then if I view the whole thing, so now it's moved down. So see how the safe area, this red boundary box, move in a little bit closer so you can see how that red boundary box has moved. And then all we have to do is hit the play button. So all of my design is in the red box, and it's asking me there are queued designs outside of the area, so they're talking about all of this. And we're going to go to start point. And the sew head is going to move all the way over here. And we're ready. We're not going to sew another row, make you suffer through, so let's come over here. We're going to do a drawing. Kind of a shorter show for you tonight. So let's do the AQS drawing first. Shake my luck.
Hey Karen, how are you tonight? So then you got some questions coming in.
Okay.
And if you do have questions, shout them out for Joan here. So
All right.
type them.
Not looking. Okay. Congratulations to David Wilhelm from Omaha, Arkansas.
Oh, nice.
So we will be reaching out to him via email for a $100 shopping trip. Well, it's a gift card for Quilt Sampler. So questions?
Okay, so Carol asked, have you already basted down the sides?
Nope. I have not. And I typically do not. And so I know what you're talking, I think I know what your issue is. Sometimes. Maybe I don't know. I'm guessing. So we do a lot of quilts at Quilters HQ. We have a quilting business as well as the store. And so sometimes we'll get borders on quilts that are a little wavy, like this. I don't know if you can see it. So they're wavy. So there's a little bit too much fabric. Presser foot pressure. If you have watched any of my videos for AccuQuilt, it's one of those things that I talk about over and over and over and over, and they're like, oh, here she goes again. Presser foot pressure. So if you've ever sewed two pieces of fabric together, so say these, two pieces of fabric. Oh, those go really well together. They do.
They do go, yeah.
So they started out the same size. So when you cut them, they were like this. They were perfect size. But you sewed, and then they ended up like this, right? So this is the end of it. your bottom piece of fabric is bigger. That's presser foot pressure. Or they ended up like this, where it's bigger on top. That's too much presser foot pressure. One of the really nice things about the Viking 95Q and this Viking Epic 3, it is an auto sensing presser foot pressure. So you can tell it what you're sewing on. So this would be woven medium. If I'm sewing with batting, it's woven heavy. And it will automatically sense the presser foot pressure. So if you don't have a machine that does that and you don't adjust your presser foot pressure, you're going to end up with some wavy borders, and you might have to baste down the sides. But let me tell you what you can buy at Walmart, Target, anywhere. It is this washable school glue. It's just clear. And you can use this to do just a little bead. This is how we do it at Quilters. A little bead right down the edge. So if this is your batting and this is your quilt, you're just going to come right down the edge and then take your iron and then heat set that. Just, you know, a couple places with the iron, and that will be good enough. So I don't glue baste or sew down the sides. I don't need to. There's enough static and the batting that it will hold my quilt down, and I don't need to do that. Some people prefer to do that. This is my quilt. If it was a customer's quilt, I would probably glue baste the edges because I don't want to risk the foot catching it or possibly tearing the edge or having me pick out a customer's quilt. I don't want to do that, but it's my quilt, and if there's a flaw, we'll just live with it.
So Patsy said she loves Smarties.
I love Smarties. But
Kathy said she has a question about the Thread of the Month Club.
Okay.
So you can type that in.
Okay.
Kathy wanted to know, did you use elastic leads to keep the quilt tight?
I did not. Again, quilting, so when we're talking about elastic leads, let me just grab it and show you what she's asking about, because some of you may not know. So, earthquake. So these are the elastic leads, and they typically just go right on there and they hold your quilt steady. I didn't use them, and if you look, there's quite a bit of play in there. So one of the things that those elastic leads solve is tension. And I don't think I have one here. I do have one here. I think it's in that drawer down there. So if you have a long arm, it's the toe gauge. Nope, it's in a Bernina box. Nope, not. It's just a cardboard box.
Anyway, keep going.
He's going through my stuff.
I'll find it eventually. Don't worry.
Okay, so it's called the toe gauge. And so one of the reasons why you might want to have the leaders or the elastics to stretch your quilt out is because if our tension is too tight, it's going to want to pull that quilt in all directions. So a good measure of that in long arming is, say that quilt is 68 by 68, which I think it is. And then I take it off the quilting machine and it's 67 by 67. That means that the tension on my long arm is too tight. This is a tension gauge. And they will work with all the long arms. You will have to check what your long arm is. I can tell you that Bernina, Juki, Janome, and Handy Quilter, the tension is between 200 and 250. So anywhere in between there. So if you've seen people doing the drop test where they're dropping the bobbin into their hand to test the tension, that's not a good enough measure because there's a lot of variance just between colors of thread. So black thread is thicker than white thread because of the dye. The dye makes the thread thicker. And so the way this works, will you grab the bobbin case out of the machine? I'll be right back. Okay, so this is my bobbin case. It just snaps in just like this. If you have the Bernina bobbin, if you have a Bernina, you are not going to go through this. Get up close to show you the Bernina bobbin. The Bernina bobbin has a little slot right here. Can they see it? Right there. You do not go through that when you're testing your bobbin tension. And so the way this works, bobbin is snapped in. You want to shake it around a little bit. You go under, over, and across. My tension's a little bit high, but that's okay. It's not too much over. And so when you're pulling it through, it should be, let me get in really, really, really close here. So see where all those numbers are? So it should be right in there. Somewhere between there and there. So as long as your tension is set right, you won't be shrinking your quilt. Has it ever happened to you? You got a quilt, you long arm, and when you got it back it was smaller and they didn't trim it? It's because the tension has actually shrank the quilt down. And it can happen. So this is a very handy tool. We do sell these. They are $59, and if you want one, comment, make it mine, TM3, if you have an M size bobbin. An M size bobbin is the really large bobbin. They're about the size of a quarter. If you have an L size bobbin, which is about the size of a nickel, it is TM1. Comment, make it mine, TM1. They're $59.99 and we'll ship them to you. Best tool ever. On a long arm, all of your tension starts in the bobbin. So you set your bobbin and then you adjust your top tension. So if you're too tight, you're going to shrink your whole quilt. And that was, I think, why that person was asking the question, did I use the elastics?
She wanted to know because she said it can pucker up sometimes on it.
Yep, that puckering can be...
Anyway.
Okay.
It says, I know with quilting, the quilt can draw up on it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And that's tension. So if you have your tension set right, it really...
Judy was asking if, what's the pressure for like a 6 needle or something. So it's a little different.
That's a, Judy, you have one, and we talked about this, and didn't we write it on your box?
All right, Judy.
Judy. I don't know off the top of my head, and it's a baby lock, right? I think it is. Our machine's a baby lock. I don't know right off the top of my head.
Okay, Joan, I think we're coming towards the end here.
Okay. Then all we have left to do...
Thread of the month, you want to hit that one more time?
Sure. Easy when I was
a little bit. Let me get the box.
If you have a long arm, this is an absolute must. and it is 15% off for the show. And if you are in the club, it's 20% off. If you are not, we will ship you this box, and then all of the thread that you purchase. So if you wanted my favorite, we're kind of choppy. I think the kids are getting on the internet.
Of course.
So, like, if you wanted this color or whatever color, then 20% off. Any other questions?
Do we give
Come here, Lana.
little brother? Yeah.
Lana. Little Lana. Meow, meow, meow.
Congratulations, Barbara Delk.
Barbara, congratulations. This is all she wants. So we'll end with our normal ending, which I did all of these things before I started my quilt. I oiled my hook. Now you're getting grumpy. She's fat. She can go outside the sun.
Yeah, she does.
During the winter time, because she can't go outside and hunt for bugs and lizards and all the things that she likes to murder and snack on. She is a predator. The winner again?
Barbara Delk.
Barbara Delk. Congratulations.
Barbara.
Barbara, if you have not shopped with us before, please go to quiltershq.com and register for Joan Sews. We have your information, and so we are off to dinner, and you have a wonderful evening. If we don't see you, we'll see you next week. Good night.